What's going on, Archivist? Welcome to the Archivist Almanac. Today, I have a very special guest. This is Bobby Tortilla, the winner of Ascent Boston, who took it with none other than one of my favorite decks, probably my only favorite deck, is the deck I've been playing since I got into the game, but with none other than Krux Knight Lorraine. Bobby, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
We are fantastic. We're reveling. We're whatever the word is. Words are hard. In all the wonders that is Riyle the Abyss, and being able to play our level 3 Krux decks, because Krux is fine, right?
It's the most fine it's ever been.
It's so funny. Like I just got into the game got into the game. I started playing the game again around maybe at this point like 3 months ago. So it's funny, like, hearing everybody talk about, like, being prior to Riyle the Abyss, like, yeah, like, Krux is fine. Now that Riyle the Abyss is here, it's like, cool. Yeah, Krux is fine.
Yeah.
It's like funny hearing like all the memes and stuff about it.
it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. Every once in a while, just Krux coming in there, and then with the Rico on the horizon, it's really fine right now. It'll be super fine soon.
I'm very excited to see how they handle a Krux assassin. I was low-key hoping they would keep it dual class assassin mage, because I like Kingslayer being a dual class warrior mage. I think it allows for really cool play lines, but I understand it's like kind of like a balancing nightmare.
Yeah, so. It's probably a little too much. I know people are already theorizing how crazy Pendragon Merkblade is going to be, and the different lines that you can play. So having access to 2 classes, it's a lot.
Especially with something as like, if it was assassin warrior or assassin mage, it would have been like, cool. I can play I can still do my fireball plays, and now I also have like Sadie.
Right.
So I have Sadie and I have Pendragon. It's like, that's tough. Not in addition to just like all the just good general assassin cards. I mean, I think the fact that Merlin's going to get native access to a 2-cost in cap is already cracked.
It's nuts.
It's like, oh yeah, this is Krux, and hey, you're gonna like try to incap I guess that's the thing, right? Like Incarnate Majesty, I'm gonna incap you. I'll incap your incap because I can do that too.
Well, mine only cost me 2.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I can understand it. It's a bit sad, but I totally understand it. So we'll start off. I normally talk about locals first. What did I do? I guess I did Yeti. Did I do Yeti last week? I think I did. I might have gotten mollywopped, to be honest. I think I did get mollywopped. I guess more importantly, I played in last week's regionals, and I had a hot start. I went off 3-1. I was playing none other than Krux Knight Lorraine. Although I like Ensoul, but like, I don't know. I've just never been on the Ensoul train.
Sure.
I've always just been like on like Devastating Blow, Rending Flames, etc. So I was off to a very hot start, and I was 3-1. And then I played against that's what had me start going downhill. I took my second loss to Wind Guoja, which was, bro, they generated like so much influence by turn 3. I was like, are you playing the Riyle package? Because I thought I was supposed to be the one generating the influence here. And I just got like punched in by influence gain twice.
Ugh.
And then my third game I lost to, oh gosh, I don't even remember what the third loss was. Oh, Xander.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. And so I was playing like a hybrid. I was crossing the lines and playing Lorraine main, and then I would just sideboard into Merlin if I felt like I needed to. So I didn't have anything that I normally had for that matchup. So I didn't have Regal Inquisitions. I didn't have Nullifying Mirrors. So that made both the Wind and the Xander matchup way harder than they needed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned a lot. So see how it goes.
That's always the best part about it. You got to take a little bit each time you play, and then you're like, all right, I've got all the knowledge base I need. I can make all the plays I need to make. Like I'm just there type situation. So I learn every time I play one of these decks that I'm not familiar with. Like we've got somebody in the locals that plays Wind Dragon, and I'm like, I don't know this matchup at all. So it's really helpful that my local meta is like the least paying attention to what's going on in the rest of the world. Everybody just plays the deck they want to play. Even though that being said, Wind Dragon did get second and third at Taipei, so he's on to something.
Yeah, it was. With the moment I faced it, I was like, gosh. I was like, why the hell wasn't this deck? Like, obviously, sure, they have Purifying Thurible, but like, they didn't need Purifying Thurible.
Nah.
Like, it definitely was able to do things regardless of that card existing. So it's cool to see the meta develop in real time as people are like, yeah, well, what can I do to combat Riyle?
Right.
So I'm actually curious, you know, obviously you won the Ascent with a Riyle package deck. How do you feel about it so far? You know, yay or
about Riyle?
Yeah.
It's like a bittersweet love-hate type relationship. So I value that all these level 3 decks are now viable, which is something that you couldn't really say before. It just, if you're running one of the level 3 deck, it was very selected. Like Fire Luxem existed, but it's just not in the same capacity as it is now. And so it enables all these old decks or kind of these new decks with some of the new life added to them, and I enjoy that. The other side of this is Riyle is just so easy to slot into everything. I mean, I was playing at locals, and the Suzaku player was had 4 liminal guides out at one point, and I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, not you. You're supposed to be trying to aggro me down. You've got 12 cards in hand. This is a weird aggro deck, and so I think it's a little too easy to slot into every single deck. It's probably a little too strong right now. I think that maybe some of it just should have been eroded a little bit. Maybe it doesn't draw cards, so you just don't go innately card neutral on its minor changes like that. So it's like a love-hate right now. I think I'm probably going to tend towards hate later on, where it's like the games can be kind of high rolly. If you're playing Riyle versus Riyle, it's just, you know, who's got the better opener. If I've got Riyle throw a liminal and a float down, hit a creative shock, and I'm just doing all these game actions, drawing a bunch of cards, you probably got to win the game, and there's a pretty good shot. So I think for the future it's going to be a little rough.
I am inclined to agree, because it does suck when it's like, cool, I'm playing the same Riyle deck you are, but like, you saw the liminal guide and the float, so you get the body and the extra draw, and I don't. Or I have a Riyle in hand, and then I have another Riyle and nothing. It's like, it does make it tough. Now, one thing I'm curious about, I didn't play during the Lost in Thought meta. So, do you think, I'm asking you because I'm sure you've played during it, do you think Lost in Thoughts would have been okay? Or if Riyle came out, I guess that's a better question. Do you think Riyle would have been fine if Water still had Lost in Thoughts?
Probably. I think with Lost in Thoughts, I don't know if these fire decks do super well into kind of these strong water decks. Lost in Thoughts giving you options just with Frostborn Paladin. That was my most hated opener to see, was my opponent goes Frostborn Paladin in response to the on-enter. Lost in Thoughts for 0, get a card. I hated it so much. And now the back end of that, you know, Lost in Thoughts for 4, just draw a bunch of cards. I think it could have kept up with the decks. It probably made it okay. Like, obviously we didn't see a lot of water, and I think water is probably pretty good into the meta if they can keep up. So I think it would have been fine. I think maybe it's just not the power level they want to see, and probably why you're seeing it go to Cat 2 immediately with Riyle and Lost in Thoughts get banned outright.
Right, I agree. It's like, I had this topic. I have another podcast I do for Digimon, and we have an engine currently that like everybody hates because it's a draw. It's like a value engine. You're getting multiple things. You get a body. You're getting extra draw outside of what's normally allowed at the confines of the games. So, you know, it brings into the concept or into the topic. It's like Riyle. It's a card. It's not just one card like Lost in Thoughts. Like yeah, sure, you need floating in your grave, but it's water. You're going to get floating in your grave at some point. But for Riyle, you need to see the other cards. So you need to see let's say 12 other cards in your deck. It's like, it's kind of like checks and balances, but I mean, a draw 3, trash 2, it's kind of cracked.
It's pretty good.
So it's like,
it's pretty good.
You know, how insane is it?
It's really good. And I think what I'm most anticipating is how Phantom Monarchs will add, if there's any more specters that get added into the package, that just makes it even better, right? I mean, if there's another, I know they're not going to print Liminal 2.0, but like Liminal 2.0, what are we looking at when all of a sudden your opponent hits Riyle and it's just like, yeah, I actually just run like 40 Spectres because they're just that good.
Yeah, right. That's my thing. Like, obviously they don't just release something and then there's not going to be any follow-ups. Like, I'm excited to see if they maybe do some sort of like Spectre oriented champion, which would be cool to see. But then at the same time, yeah, if you just have a deck that's 40 Spectres and then you have Riyle Abyss, and if it's a fire-based deck and you play Creative Shock too, it's like, well, fuck.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
or for Creative Shock, for Creation Ritual, and for Riyle Abyss in a Spectre deck where I want to die. It was like, it's a lot of value to be gained. So yeah. I do question, like, I like seeing the presence of level 3 decks, but I think just in my little time of playing the game, I know aggro's always been, I mean, aggro's a thing in every card game, but aggro and Grand Archive definitely feels more like you can get high rolled out of existence with some of the openers. So I guess instead of necessarily seeing like level 3 decks getting a buff, I'd want to see like aggro decks have a way to like slow down, but like they just get new cards like Ignis Deus. Like if you only want to go to level 1, well, cool, I'll just Ignis Deus. I get my free level 1 and I can get another materialization next turn. It's just like, I like the freedom of like deck expression, but it also, it's like the scales never really like balance, so to say. It's kind of just, and then flipping this way and go back and forth.
We go back and forth pretty heavily. I was gonna say, right now level 3 is kind of crazy. Before that, it was like, if you went to level 1, I'm impressed type deal.
Oh man, that's crazy. So we got derailed a bit, but locals, did you like, I know you're in the DMV area, so like, did you have locals yet, or is locals coming up for you?
So we essentially just had store jams, which after I was like, got back, I was like, I don't want to do this. So I didn't do store jams. We have locals on Fridays here, and Wednesdays around the Richmond area. So I went to Friday. I'll probably go to Friday next week. Locals are a little special now coming back. I think we've got like 5 ascendants right now in the group for all the people who made day 2. So it's it looks like a very interesting little meta for us. But Modern has, I think, one of like the biggest locals I've been a part of. So I moved down from Northern Virginia 5 months ago, and we're kicking off hitting like 10, 12 people on a Friday. Modern's got like 25 people every Friday. It's crazy.
That's so nice. Yeah,
it is really nice.
That's how I feel like in this area. We don't have like, I don't have anywhere near me. I have to drive like 40, minimum of 40 minutes to get to a locals, but at least we have like multiple ones within the 40-minute radius, which is more than I could say. I played Card Fight previously. It was more than I could say for Card Fight, because it's like, all right, I got one on one day of the week. If I can't make the one, I just don't play Card Fight that week. At least I can say I can play Grand Archive on almost any given day.
Yeah, I'm starting to find that the kind of Grand Archive is really picking up. I think each expansion, there's like another store, or the locals grows by like 2 to 3 players. So like we've got just this expansion, 2 new players I can think of, one of which went to Boston, like just started playing like a couple weeks ago. It's like, I just want to get into it. Brought Tristan, like wanting to play. Like it grows a little bit by little bit, and then you're starting to see like more and more stores start picking it up. It's no longer a risk, and they don't want to take that risk and say, I'm going to start picking up this stock, it's not going to move. Stores are actually starting to take it really seriously.
Yeah, it is cool to see. I mean, especially considering that, what was it? The Alice, I think Alice number 1, CUR just sold for like 15 grand USD.
It's nuts.
I'm like, I love Grand Archive, don't get me wrong, but like 15 grand is like,
yeah, I don't have those pockets.
Right. I'm like, I like spending money on cardboard. 15 grand, that's, I can pay off a car.
Yes. Yeah. It's a lot.
I can do so much for 15 grand. For one card, yeah, sure, it's number 1, but like, I don't know. But it is cool to see. It is cool to see. Because, I come from like a bunch of Bandai card games, and the only thing that's ever sold for that much is probably anything on the One Piece side, because it's One Piece.
Okay. Yeah, so I came from I play Magic still, kind of like Arena because it's easy. I like to draft, that sort of thing. But I came from Flesh and Blood, and those decks are really expensive.
Yeah.
I know your last video, you talked about the cost of the decks, and I was like, man, that's just like $800 is just how much your equipment costs. You're not even getting in all the Majestics and how much this stuff costs. I went back, 'cause I haven't played in a long time, and I was like, what's a Command and Conquer at? And they're like, it's like $70. So, and you're playing 3 of. And so it was like, yeah, that deck is probably more expensive than anything I'm going to play in Grand Archive. So I thought that like a lot of the Grand Archive decks are really ramping up in price, as you've correctly analyzed. But it's still not to Flesh and Blood standards, which is nuts.
It is crazy too, because Flesh and Blood has been around since what, like 2019?
Yeah, I think they were like right in COVID. They might have been like a 2020 type deal.
Right, and it's like, it's just crazy because it's had more time to really sit here and like marinate with its audience, but it is also just crazy in terms of price. It's never kind of not been like that.
Nope. The whole time.
So it's like, especially like Grand Archive, like looking at the price. So like the price scale, like obviously like Flesh and Blood. I mean, my friend asked me, I took his Digimon collection. He was like, all right, you can take my Digimon collection. I'll just have you buy me some Magic cards for trade. He sent me this one card. It was a Mox Diamond or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like $500. And I was like, what the fuck? It's one
nuts.
card.
It's nuts.
One card.
Yeah.
What are you playing that your deck is like 10 grand? This is insanity, Mark.
Your whole deck is just a bunch of slabs that you're throwing down.
Right.
I just shuffle my slabs with a pallet fork.
Right. It's like, wow. It's crazy. So I guess with that in mind, talking about like where you came from. So how did you end up getting into Grand Archive?
Yeah, so I started, like I said, started playing with Flesh and Blood for a while. I was doing it like trying to get into the competitive scene, and then I just kind of started falling off. I wasn't having as much fun with the game anymore. I just like wasn't in a good spot for me. I don't know if it was design wise or just the community or something. A friend from Flesh and Blood and someone I've known like my entire life was like, hey, you got to try Grand Archive out. This game's really cool. We've got a couple of us that are like, got to play it. And so I started playing, and funny enough, that friend actually just like quit like a month after everyone started playing. A bunch of us got into it from the friend group. We started playing with it, and I just stuck with it. I think I just really loved the mechanics of the game. It's got like a familiar-esque feel to Magic, but I don't have to worry about mana, which is like the worst part of Magic in my opinion. So it's like really deterministic gameplay. Like I know what I'm doing. I can really plan ahead with not a lot of randomness really in the game, and ultimately kind of pilot the deck I want to play. And then there's a ton of different fun options. I love the deck build, so there's a ton of stuff. I've got probably 200 stupid decks on Shout right now. Where I can just play what I want. So I love that aspect of the game, and so I've just always stayed with it. I've been playing, I think, since late DOA, because I played Erupting Merlin to start.
I've heard about Erupting.
Yeah, it was a fun deck. I love that deck.
So I'd have to say, like, coming from, I'll say this for like eternity. Coming from Bandai games, it is fun. Deck building is probably the thing I enjoy the most as well. I think it's because like I played Yu-Gi-Oh, not the paper game, but like the video games like Yu-Gi-Oh GX Tag Force, and like the funnest part was just like, all right, cool. I pulled these stupid cards from this booster pack. How can I put this and make a deck out of it? All right, cool. Let's go have fun. And I think I just took that with me from like being a child into playing card games as an adult. Card Fight was a lot more structured because you have clans. Digimon is somewhat structured. And then generally speaking, most Bandai card games are structured. Grand Archive is literally, here's a champion, choose your elements, because we support most times we support every element for this champion, which is like phenomenal. It's crazy that you can be like, well, CL comes, I think, is a fire champion in the starter deck, right?
Yeah.
And there are water cards for him, and I don't know if there are any wind cards, but maybe there's
a couple. Yeah.
So you can really just say, all right, well, I prefer to play him in a water style, so I will play the water CL, or I prefer to play fire style, so I'll stick with fire. And you don't even have to play like aggros. You can play aggro CL, you can play control whatever CL, you can play a fractal CL. I heard somebody brewing with on Reddit, which I was like, sure, that's a thing. Why not? Exactly. I love that. It's so open and it's so expressive, and it leaves a lot of room for player expression, which is just so fantastic.
Yeah, it's great about this game. And on top of that, the community is probably one of the best I think I've ever played. Everyone that plays this game is like the nicest person you'll ever meet. There's always like a one bad apple in every crowd, but like 99% of the players are just out here to have fun. They're great people, so that also was super attractive. Not having super sweaty. I win at all costs. I need to get this W so I can get 80th place here. Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I think the biggest, well, probably the two biggest things for any card game three biggest things for any card game, in my opinion, is number one, the art. The art is what drew me to the card game in the first place. I was like, oh, cool, it looks like anime. Oh, it kind of is anime. Yeah. I'm a nerd. I'm totally about that. Number two, it's mechanically sound. It doesn't have anything like, it's probably closest to me to like Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super Masters is what it's called now. Which I think is like, for anybody who might have played it and they're listening, it's just the way you use your hand as a resource really sets it up so that without the company wanting to develop power creep, you don't really have anything that's like overly busted. Obviously, the Bandai's design philosophy is make busted cards, and that's how games get out of hand. But the mechanics set itself up to be mechanically sound and not be, well, I don't know how they're going to balance that. Because I've always had that problem with like One Piece. I played One Piece for a time, and I was like, man, this game is not going to handle power creep well. And they have rotation now. So it's the best way for them to keep power creep in check. But it's cool that, yeah, I mean, Ghost might, if Merlin was an assassin mage, or I guess, yeah, if she was like an assassin mage and there were like some old cards that she could abuse, yes, rotation would kind of fix that because they could choose to rotate cards out. But you can also just choose other ways to balance the game, which is unique.
Yeah.
And then number three, yes, the community. I think having the ability to kind of just be like, I see it like every day on Reddit. Every day on Reddit, there's a new post of somebody saying, and yes, I do wish you guys would go use the search function, but we're trying to be a welcoming community and nobody's like overly toxic. Like, you should be using the search function because these questions are asked every day. No, it's just like, yeah, we understand the game is growing and it's small. Here's what you can do to get into the game. Yes, we may be repeating ourselves, but it's fine because we all know where the game lies and we just want the game to be better.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect. I guess next question would be, number one, how did you end up on Lorraine for Ascent Boston?
Yeah, so it was a journey. So I have played so much Ranger going up to this. So I played like Wind Allies Ranger forever. That was just like the deck that for some reason I gelled with. And so Diana's always had a sweet spot in my heart. And so I was trying with some of the new cards to make Umbra Diana come back in. So I started playing Umbra Diana for like 2 or 3 weeks and doing like okay at locals. And I just, at one point, I think about 2 weeks outside of Boston, I was like, it's just not going to cut it. I was like, I think if I see a bunch of Merlins, I'm happy. If I see anything else, I'm going to get blown out of the water. I need to pivot. And so I played, we, like as a group, had been looking at Merlin or Lorraine ever since we saw Votive. We're like, this card is
Yes.
perfect for this deck. Like, it's going to revive this old archetype. I think it's fantastic. And so we're like, well, yeah, let's test this out. So we were testing this deck essentially as soon as DTR dropped. We were like on Looking Glass with different variants, and we kind of moved in, put in Fluffy, Shopkeep into the deck, and we were making all these different changes. And then I was like, look, I think this is the turning point. I think I'm going to swap to this deck. We've tested it a ton. I've been on the receiving side of Onsol numerous times. I like how it plays. I played it back in like a DOA, FTC type era, so I'm used to some of these play patterns, and I maybe just have to update some of my gameplay. And so we started play testing a ton with this deck, fixing some of the ratios, and it just felt really good. I was like, I think this is where I wanted to be. Like, it was doing well into what I thought was going to be around in the meta. Other decks that were winning these other events, I was like, hey, we're testing against them in this like gauntlet style deck. Everything's been working out really well, and so I just hammered down on the one deck. I felt like it was in a good spot, and essentially after we had a store champs about a week before Boston, I picked up some new play patterns that I liked, especially with Clarent. You were talking about just hitting with Clarent. I didn't think about how much damage it could actually put out against people that I don't really care to keep the Clarent around. It learned some more play patterns with Votive. Being able to just break swords, swing for 7/7, that's pretty good. And then just kind of build that, and I felt like I was in a good spot with the deck. Changed a little bit of ratios, and then fired it off.
And in your run, like outside of Vanitas, what do you think was the most difficult deck you played against?
I was really scared. The deck that I didn't play against, I was the most scared of, was Jen, because I just did not know what to do.
I know.
Like, what do I do? I just gotta keep tapping them over their life threshold until they run out of heal cards? Like, that's probably my best bet. I was like, I just need to dodge Jen. And there was a couple of Jens that were running around where I was at, and I was like, I just, please no Jen. And I managed to do it. The deck that I was most scared of playing was Fire Luxem. And I played it twice. I played it once on day one, and my opponent like destroyed me. It was not even close. At one point, there was 4 Riyle liminals out there. I just could not keep up with the value, and it was like showed me striking illuminance. There's on top. There's an assault, and then he shows me another assault on the bottom. It was like, oh, yeah. I just can't keep up, and so that really shook me. And then I went into top 8 and played Wyatt or Robotron on Luxem, and I think I kind of figured out what I was doing wrong in the matchup, and was able to change a little bit. But then I also just drew really hot that match, and I was able to 2-0 it, which felt good. But Luxem was the matchup that I was most scared of in testing. It was pretty close. It was like it could go either way each match, so I did not want to see that match, and I went 50-50 on it, so I think I'll take it.
Right. So like in one of, I guess one of the biggest things I've been struggling with, I love Clarent. Clarent's the entire reason I want to play Lorraine. Because so I played in the regional, my first matchup was against Fractals. And I was like, okay, cool. You're going to drop 5 Fractals. I know I need to turbo out Clarent. So I put Clarent out on in my first game. And then I ended up winning because he was like, oh, I forgot that Clarent was a card. And I was like, I know. If it wasn't for Clarent, I would have been dead like 10 turns ago, let's just say. So game 2, obviously he went first. And I don't recall if that was a 2-0 or a 2-1, but I want to say that he probably won, and probably because I went second and couldn't get Clarent out fast enough. And then game 3, it was just, all right, cool. I can get Clarent out again. And as long as I can get Clarent out, at the bare minimum, I cannot be burst asundered. Yes. Which is all that matters. And just learning about that, the first time I learned about that when I got into the game, I was like, so this card just says, if I play against Fractals, my win rate goes from, let's just say it's like 40-60. It goes to something like 60-40. It like reverses. Like,
it's really good. It just, as soon as it hits, you're like, I'm safe as long as this is out here for now. Eventually they'll missile over top for 8 damage each time, and they'll get through the 2, but burst will never connect. You just know that you're safe. If they show you a burst, you just say -1, and then they're not going to send it off. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's really good, and like it's good into Faiza does really well. They've got a lot of like mixed damage they like to do. Same thing with Suzaku. It's like all these other decks that are out there, that mixed damage package. Clarent is so good. And that is like probably one of the best players, not players, vault cards they've released other than Polaris.
Yeah, it's so insane. And it's even more insane. It's just like, cool, this is a card I can just print and play. I don't need to go like hunt for this card or pay like $40 because it's an ultra rare. Like, no, I'm just print it and play it. Like, Clarent's my favorite card in Lorraine. And it's the reason I am like Krux Knight. It has to work because I just get to banish 2 swords and then just give +2 attack for like no reason at all whatsoever. And then, you know, you watched the video, but I'll say it again here. It's just like, I did not realize its value as just an attacking sword. It's just
a beater.
I don't need it in this matchup. All right, cool. 5 damage every turn. Duh. Why didn't I think of that?
it puts a clock on your opponent. Nobody wants to get hit for 5 every turn.
Right.
And then it turns your Rennings into an 8. Like it's fantastic. And that's like on the low end. Like there's multiple times during this tournament where I, you know, threatened 20 damage with the Rending Flames. It's
crazy. It is crazy. And I mean, as a, you know, obviously as a fellow Lorraine enjoyer myself, the moment I saw 7 swords main deck, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm here for. I was like, I don't want to play 6 swords and like this auxiliary thing that can help me with X matchup. I just want to be ignorant and play 7 whole swords.
It's great.
if I could put 6 swords in my banishment and just swing for 6 to 7 damage every turn, what's my opponent going to do against me outside of Song of Frost or what is insert water card to end my attack step here?
And half the time, you know, it sucks, but you know, water's not running around.
Exactly.
If they're burning resources, I played a lot of training into Water Allies. One of my friends is like a big Water Allies proponent, and it was like, I just throw the Flame Sweep down. Do you have it? No? Okay, well, it clears the whole board and I draw 2 or draw 3. You just got to make them have it. If you just play scared the whole game, they'll run you over with the value they don't have. They'll hold the 3 cards and act like they've got it, but eventually they will find it. You just got to make them have it. So you say running for 16, they say no. It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
I think that's like probably my biggest problem in how I've been playing the deck. I haven't respected its kill potential enough, and I've tried to just. So I'm more of a. I don't really know what type of player I am. I'll be honest. I used to think I was like a control player, and I'm not. So I switched to playing like these sort of like mid-range and aggro decks in Digimon, and coming over into GA, I've played more of a. I mean, obviously I played Lorraine because I just thought it was cool, sword swing, do damage, but I don't respect how much damage I really can be outputting. So, you know, I'm always like playing sort of timidly and trying to play mid-range. And I think I like came to the realization at some point in the last like week or two that if I want to like really play that way, I should probably be playing Merlin, because I could really just punch people in the face with Lorraine.
Yeah.
And really like hone in on that. So I guess like my question, when you were, it's like you come from playing like this Ranger Water, right? I assume that's how you played it, or no? It was.
I've done both. I've done a lot of Wind. I did do a Water Dahlia deck for fun at regionals. It did not go well, so I don't tell people to do that anymore.
So how do you think that you have a play style as a player, or do you kind of just go with whatever you feel is working for you?
I think I'm mostly a combo type player. It doesn't really present itself as much in this game. Like when I was playing the Park Ranger deck, it was like, get a big ally that has distant on it, you know, use some kind of incremental value, skirting step to do the 1 extra, give it distant, it swings for 5, and then I, you know, second wind it to double attack you, that sort of thing. Kind of close to what Scam is doing right now, the like Wind Allies deck with Mad Hatter. Kind of doing some of that. So I usually kind of play like a combo player for the most part. I kind of settled in Grand Archive. I just play the deck that I feel probably most comfortable on. regardless of what it really is. But I tend to be on the kind of more controlling side of mid range, but just mostly a combo type player. I just love combos, no matter how convoluted and bad they are. I will attempt to do it. So that's usually where I find myself, but kind of on the more controlling side.
Right. I mean, I appreciate a good combo too. When I found out like Honed by Fire on a Votive Runeblade, and then cool. I'm Krux Knight with 5 swords and banishment. GG, but unless you're ending one of these attacks, which I still on attack. Oh no, they could stop you from getting the on attack. But
yeah, they can do it on top of the trigger.
So it's like, okay, cool, I guess. But if you don't have it, just like you said, I think that's like the biggest thing, like respecting what the deck is trying to do, trying to step outside of like this sort of little box I put myself in. That's probably what happened. I put myself in a box, and GA is just so. I assume if I played Magic, I always say this, if I played Magic, I probably would enjoy Magic. And if I played Magic, it'd probably make me a better player. Or if I played Magic, it'd probably make me a better player, because Bandai games push you in a way into being a certain style of player. Because the decks are much more straightforward. They can sometimes play out of their confines, but deck building, because it's not as diverse, you just end up like siloing yourself. So playing GA has definitely been like a journey, because there is no one right way. It's like watching you navigate those finals was like, you can play the deck that way? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a thing. That makes sense. Like Fluffy Shopkeep. I'm like, well, I only want 2 in the deck because I only want to see 2. I only want to banish my swords once. Yeah, well, buddy, you can just drop it for 3 and not banish your swords and still have a 1/3 intercept.
She's great. She's great.
And then
yeah, she's really good. I was just saying, I think that's why I actually like this deck so much, is there's so many different kind of ways you can take the deck. If you're just, like you said, do this little chip damage strategy and trying to eventually wear them down. A big Rending Flames out of nowhere, it just ends a match. Same thing with like Flame Sweep. It kind of does the same thing. If you take out a bunch of allies, you're putting yourself in a great spot. And then just on top of it, you just show your opponent an Onsole, and it's going to do 20 plus damage on it. It's like, yeah, that just finishes the game. So there's just so many different ways to kind of finish it. And worst case scenario, Ghost of Pendragon's like a 3/4 beater. He can just get there eventually. 2 of them down and 6 for a turn. So the deck has a lot of different ways you can do it. You don't actually feel like you're siloed in and I have to resolve an Onsole to win. There's no way for me to win unless I get Onsole. It's just not true.
Yes, absolutely agree with that. It's such a versatile deck. I mean, I think all the level 3 decks are like pretty cool. If there was one I would gravitate towards, it'd probably be Jin, because I think just somebody who says, unless it's my end step,
not dying.
I've got another turn, buddy. I think that concept of a deck is just so cool. And I agree. It's like going into that matchup as Lorraine is like, how am I to win this? How much damage am I going to do to you before I potentially die?
There's a lot of math there. I think you really have to know what Jin can do to successfully do that matchup, because you're right. All of a sudden, Jin's at like 88 damage, and you're like, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I know it's gonna hurt.
My opponent did a triple Proof of Life play pre-rec they Quicksilver Grailed this is what I lost to in Yeti. They Quicksilver Grailed their Shuangji, did a triple Proof of Life, and then materialized the Shuangji, which did 5x2 is 10, by 2 is 20, by 2 is 40. They were up to 60 damage in that turn. I was like,
it's rad.
I hope you don't have the Enrage for some reason, and you're just doing this just because, and I can maybe live. No, it's not how it goes.
No, I was gonna say, worst case, they just hit you over and over with the Swansea, because they have Proof of Life in their graveyard now.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
When I read Proof of Life, I was like, how often is Jin going to be above 40 damage? Surely they're not going to push themselves that hard.
All the time.
Yeah. Jin is such an awesome deck. I love it's one of my favorite aspects of just the game. It sort of plays like a video game. You'd never think to see some of these concepts outside of like a video game TCG. But no, yeah, we've got it. The wind Guoja deck that I lost to with freaking Siryu just generating an arcane blast twice, and then Byaku's command to awaken, and then
it's good.
Swing and empower, and then I'm just gonna arcane blast you. I was like, oh yeah. I can't do anything about that, now can I?
If it makes you feel any better, I did play that player at locals, and I had a Rending Flames Dragon. I was like, I know I lose if the dragon stays awake, so the Rending is connecting with the dragon this turn for 16.
Yeah. It is cool though. I mean, Guoja, because they were going into, I don't know if all the decks play it that way, like they all go into level 3 Guoja, but I mean, when I had gotten into the game, like I was thinking about like which recollection deck to buy, and they were like, yeah, well, Guoja level 3, like it's just not that worth going into, so might as well just try playing something else or just not playing Siryu. And it's like, all right, well, cool. Here's this wind deck that now goes into level 3 Guoja, and they don't even need Riyle to make that relevant. They're just good. They are just good because I don't even know, like I couldn't even like pinpoint in all of my time of getting mollywopped. I probably spent like 20 minutes just letting my opponent play the game against me, and I couldn't even like pinpoint like what am I supposed to stop here? You are just
the dragon. It hits hard.
So it's like, yeah, fantastic. This guy, he had pandas against me, the daunting pandas. It's like, fuck these fucking pandas.
Yep.
And then the pandas are dealing. There's like 3 damage every turn with vigor. I can't efficiently remove it. And then you get to enough, and I'm just getting blasted by this damn dragon. And then I'm gonna get arcane blasted on top of it. Like, goddamn.
It's rough. It is definitely rough. I have flashbacks. I had a game at Nationals against like a dragon like that. I think I was getting hit with a 5/6 panda every turn because he like brisk wind trotted it, and I was like, I'm never killing this 5/6 panda. I was playing like Win the Rain Allies or something. I'm like, I'm never killing this thing. It's so strong.
It's why like not everybody plays it, but I've seen it in like list here and there. Immolation Trap. Can that target the panda? I guess it can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm just like, yeah, every day I think maybe I should be playing this goddamn Immolation Trap because I'm tired of trying to deal with these pandas, or not even just the pandas. I guess
it kills dragon.
I don't have to worry about it. Oh, right. It does kill the dragon.
Because it's a skill, so you can target the dragon.
Right.
There's the tech.
Maybe thought about Immolation Traps for sure. It's cool. I like, what are we? Maybe 2. I think there's a regional coming up for Yeti.
Yeah, and Modern has theirs later this month. I think it's the 2 or 3 weeks from now, and I think you guys have your regional next month. I think it's in October.
Yeah, next month, probably the 19th or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
and then there's Ascent Niagara. I feel like I'm like, man, I gotta try to hit these like every locals I can. I don't want to like terrorize people, but I'm like, I just gotta find something that works. I've been going through iteration after iteration. I'm like, I don't know what I want to keep. Like this card looks cool, and then surely this will come up in some matchup, right?
Yeah, I do that a lot. I was playing Exposed Darkness because I thought I was going to see Dragon and Store Champs. I did not play the player, and I was like, I need to get this out on my sideboard right now. I'm never going to see anybody playing Innervated Utility.
Right.
I was convinced that like I was going to see like a stealth opponent like every single match.
It's still there's so much that like goes in. So I guess that's like another question I have for you. When you were deck building, you were play testing against like what you knew and what your buddies were playing. But when you think about the meta, when you're planning for the meta, how much of the meta are you thinking about when you're outside of like choosing the deck, when you're making your sideboard and thinking about what should be main board versus sideboard, and even what's in your material deck? How much do you plan for the meta, and how much are you just saying, all right, like this is like my thing I've got to do and I'm playing this because?
I think it actually matters a lot, especially with the sideboard. So I was initially really worried about like Tristan and trying to shore up that matchup. And so yeah, it can be kind of rough for that deck, and so I was trying to make changes to that. I think really when I look at the deck, I essentially look at what's being played right now, see how that deck stacks up to it in theory. It's card game, stuff happens, and then if I think it's a bad matchup, that's where the sideboard comes in. Those are my tech slots. And so you'll just see that it's like everything I think I'm going to lose to. So like the Scepter's in there because I don't want to see Assassin, and Cap's really good. Fiery Interference for all the Serene decks like Luxum. Regal Inquisition because that card's just cracked. Extra defenses in there for the big hitting decks that I think will get there. So I spent a lot of time with the sideboard, I think in particular, trying to craft that for the bad matchups. And then the main deck, I think, is just my gameplay, like what I want to do, what I want to accomplish. And then there's a couple flux spots in there. And I think that's usually how I like to keep it. Like right now, with how much aggro is in the meta, like Resolute Stand is fantastic. Would I have played 3 Resolute Stands and 4 Reduced Ashes normally in this deck? Probably not. But like it's so good right now that's kind of been that flux spot in the deck, and then everything else is just the card draw engine or whatever engine I'm looking for, and then all the payoffs.
Right, for sure. And last question I have for you. In your top 8 run, what did you play in top 8? Obviously, you played against Vanitas.
Yep.
You played against Xander. What else did you play against?
Vanitas, top 8. It was.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, it was Xander, Vanitas, Vanitas.
Oh gosh. So okay, I guess that makes the question better. How did you navigate that, knowing that like in your first matchup was Xander, right? Yes. Because then it was doubled off Vanitas. So you win against Xander. You're like, all right, cool. I've eked it out. Now you go in versus Vanitas, and I assume you didn't play against Vanitas in playtesting at all, right?
No, that deck was a complete anomaly. I did not see that coming at all.
So how did you navigate that first matchup where it was like, what the hell is this? And damn, I don't know anything about what my opponent's doing really until the moment that they're doing it.
So actually, I got super lucky. At that point, that was my 3rd match of the tournament playing Burner on that deck that weekend. So I played 2 chess club members day 1.
Okay.
So I played the deck blind in 1-2-0. I think bad draws by my opponent and good draws by me. And I think I just kind of got lucky because I was not ready. Like he pulled out a Beast Soul Visage and put it on one of my taunters or interceptors. And I was like, I don't understand what this deck is doing to me. I don't get it.
Right.
Why did he just turbo to 3 with Vanitas? And like I had heard some murmurings in the hall about like this deck. And so I kind of knew something was up, but he wasn't wearing chess club stuff. And so I was not prepared when I sat down and he pulled out Vanitas. So I was like, okay. Second game I go into right after that, actually, I think was Burner on the deck. And we go to game 3 and he beats me. So my 2 losses are now to Luxum Xander and the Vanitas list. I finished up the day at 7-2. Go into day 2. Play Fire Aggro Xander. And then just like Pony. I play Burner again. I play his teammate Easton, playing the deck or Modest, and then I ID with Pickle. So I would have potentially seen the deck 3 times in a row, but we did ID, so I'd actually play it. So I had seen the deck 5 times, but I had essentially played it 4 times going into the top 8. So ultimately, I had played against the deck 6 times that weekend with a potential of 7 if just Pickle and I decided, yeah, let's just see who wins this one. So I think probably got lucky. I saw a lot of it day 1 and day 2 and kind of could formulate a plan of how I was going to approach the deck. And at that point, going into the semifinals, I had I think I knew the deck like card for card because I was like, I've seen this so many times. I know the play patterns. I know what they're trying to do. I know what I need to do to succeed. So I just need to play my game, stop their game, and move forward. So I was probably lucky for a lot of people. Lucky for me, a lot of people got to see this like midway through their tournament and then just had no idea what was going on and get blown out by it. Where luckily I got that loss on day 1 and not have to worry about it in the grand finals.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely pretty big. I didn't realize you played. Golly.
It was a weekend and a half. It was 4 Tristans, 7 Pony decks, 2 Luxem, Fire, Aggro, and Perfy on Fractals. It was quite a weekend.
How was the Tristan matchup?
I was super worried. I always get bad round 1 jitters. I don't know what I'm doing round 1. I just play terrible. And so I got in there and we go like game 1. I get the win. It's like I'm going good. This is where I want to be. I got like a Raining Flames kill on level 1. It feels good. Level 2, game 2, he goes first. And I just can't shut it out. I just get Shadow Strike and die. Game 3, I get out like a on-soul into a flame sweep finisher. My opponent kind of let the first couple hits happen, not kind of thinking about flame sweep as a finisher, and holding prep to get essentially Xaxes on Shadow Strike in hand. And then it was just like, and then the last hack after the votive, here's like a flame sweep for 9 for lethal. And they're like, yeah, I can't redirect that. And that just snowballed the whole rest of the day. So like my next opponent on Tristan, I got a Raining Flames kill on level 1 again. And then I think another I think it was back-to-back Raining Flames kills. They just didn't have a response. It was like veiling for 1, like sure, just take 14, you're still dead, that sort of thing. Gurthos we went to 2 games, kind of same thing, Flame Sweep MVP. Can't redirect it, kills the clones. Yep. If you swing for 7, it's essentially a win. So I essentially, with not like mulligan, but I'd filter my hands hard for flame sweeps and really prioritized using a flame sweep on their level 2 to get some card advantage, or just keeping the 1 of to finish the game off, because once they get the shadow clones out there, it's like impossible to get through. I think Gurthos had 54 prep in our game. He ripped my flame sweep with an Inquisition. I ripped 2 Shadow Strikes and a Slice and Dice out of his hand. And then we were just top decking for answers, and I found the flame sweep before he found the Shadow Strike.
Golly.
It was a crazy weekend against Tristan, but for whatever reason, the deck just locked in against Tristan. Raining Flames, huge MVP. They just don't run defenses for it, and it hits for so much.
Yeah. Flame Sweep is... So if Clarent is the card that makes me like want to play Lorraine, Flame Sweep is the card that also just like keeps me from like ever wanting to like do anything else. Yeah. Because I played against Suited, and God help me, I drew into Flame Sweep in all 3 games. Because if I didn't, oh my goodness, things would have been so much more difficult. It's just like Flame Sweep, board clear, any response? No, thanks. I'll draw 4 cards.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's why there's a 4 of in my deck, because I want to see it every game. Like even against the Go Tall decks, just throw it, hit their DG, draw a card for free, do like 6 damage to their face, like get some chip in, throw some cards down. It always feels good. That card is crazy. And then paired with level 2 Lorraine, it is like the best cards you can find some matchups. And a lot of times you hit that on an aggro deck, and it's like essentially it's like a concession by them. They just can't come back. There's no way to claw the game back. They just lost so much. You just essentially took 4 of their cards and you got 4 cards. It's a huge swing. It's so gross.
It's like our own siphoning fractal, you know?
Yeah.
but for card advantage. All right. Well, it was great having you on. Thank you so much for coming on to talk with me. You have any like parting words for the audience?
Just thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the team, everybody at Modern for cheering me on. I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think it was going to day 2. And so having everybody behind me really pushed me forward and got me there. So I appreciate that. And hopefully it looks like I'm inspiring some other people to pick up the deck and give Lorraine a try, especially Krux Knight. So happy to see that. So just happy to help out there and kind of be taking this trophy home for East Coast right now. And hopefully we'll see some replication with other people from the East Coast here and some of the following Ascents. I really want to see it.
Hell yeah. So that's it for today's episode of the Archivist Almanac. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this episode, please do drop a like, subscribe so that you know when future podcasts come out, and also drop a comment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll shoot them over to Bobby's way. And if Bobby's available, Bobby might answer. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.